Talking points for beyond the election that are useful for us all. The Communist Party in the 1950s said they were going to come out and take over the educational system and the teachers' unions, and they were going to intentionally dumb down an entire generation of children. And it looks like they did a good job of it. Nobody can read or write. Sex education is a good example of that. Instead of teaching the child that these thoughts that fly through their head that have to do with sex, have to do with getting the gal pregnant, it's the complete opposite. Something seems wrong. According to that Thomas Sowell, between the 1960s and 1970 census, some 200 or 250,000 nuns poured out of the educational system. And so I realized that it's not a category of teachers, but rather a category of those teachers as opposed to the other kind of teachers. It's the Catholic education that teaches you to straighten up your emotions and then learn life skills and then learn to perhaps a trade. All of that was thrown out, and the justification for it was that's a religion and you can't shove your religion down their throats. I turn on the TV and there's one of the leaders, head of the teachers union, and she's bragging about how she's a lesbian and talking about her wife. And you realize that an organization is patterned after the personality of the people running it. And you realize something's horribly amiss here. Where are the personality profilers and psychologists screaming about these guys? And even if they did nothing more than choose the better educational system, that person over that other person, just like you and I walking onto a football field and trying out for the football team, the best person should win. They didn't do that, and you know something's amiss. Another thing to add is that you realize that the teachers' unions vote in blocks, just like the policemen's unions and the plumbers' unions. And they seem to manage to vote in their people all the time. And their people just aren't doing a very good job of it. And if I take a step back and have a sense of categories, not of teachers, but of the classic battle of good and evil, I realize that those teachers have no business being there. In fact, those teachers have no business voting along with the other unions. You realize that a whole group of people took over the place, and the very group of people who should be voting aren't even in our society anymore. Let's change the subject now and talk about you. This is what you have to address. You have to be willing to or find a way to say the word no to these people. If you don't, then those kids don't have food in their stomachs. And if you do, then those kids can read and write and life goes on. And it's up to you. We're right back to where we started from. Well, we'll see you on the next anecdote.